Hello and good morning, Shannon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
I got to ask you a question, and it is about questions. Is there a question or a series of questions that did not go unanswered here? Because, I mean, everything in this book is exactly what the title is. It's almost like you've gone full circle covering everything here.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that I left out. I tried to be very, very comprehensive and thorough.
Well, as that person who put the words on the page, you really do define a lot of things, as well as you give us a different definition to many other things. Because, I mean, we could sit here and look at the word psychedelics, and right away I go back to the hippie era, the 1967 forward. But I think that in these modern ages, I mean, it's a different type of world.
Yeah, there's an unfortunate, but psychedelic substances like mushrooms or peyote have been used for thousands of years for people to do ceremonies, for people to do healing, for the rites of passage. The war on drugs and the Just Say No style campaigns used a lot of, unfortunately, very misleading propaganda and grouped psychedelics together with things like heroin and cocaine. And they're very different substances. And, where one, they could be, heroin can be used as a painkiller. And, if you've just lost a leg in a war, you're going to be happy for it. But also, if you get addicted to it, it's going to be a challenging, potentially life-destroying struggle. Psychedelics are a different thing. They're not really a place that you can go hide like other addictive substances, but they can give you a direct confrontation with the self. Yeah. That, if properly supported and you go into it with your eyes open and the proper mindset, can be deeply healing.
I'm glad you said that. If getting the proper help, because I mean that's a major issue in today's society, is that people think they can fix themselves right away. They need to go get real help, don't they?
They do. There's different levels to using psychedelics. There's the expansive experience where it's really just unbelievably mind-opening, and you get these powerful insights where you see yourself from a different perspective. And a lot of people believe that that's the extent of what you get from psychedelics. That's 99% of what you get out there. But you can also use them when properly supported with a professional. You can use them to go deep inside of yourself, and that's where the true healing around trauma happens. And that's why it's so important to understand this difference, understand how it works, understand what to look for in proper support, so that you can get the help that you're actually looking for. Because I see people going back again and again looking for some new insight that's going to fix them, and it just doesn't really work that way.
Healing and becoming whole. Doesn't that start with mindfulness?
Mindfulness is a big part of it. Being self-aware and being able to have a tolerance for your own emotional states is something you want to develop before you try using psychedelics to heal trauma. And I talk about this quite a bit in the book and give a lot of examples of what can help.
Now, when you lay out a book like this, first of all, it's very exciting to learn new things, because we've always been clouded over by several different thoughts. When it comes to anxiety, first of all, the one thing is a lot of people will smoke pot and then worry at work that they're going to get tested. When you do psychedelics, is it not one and the same? Is it what happens here? And why aren't more people doing psychedelics?
Okay, so that's an important distinction, because when you're feeling anxious and you smoke pot, what you're doing is coping, or you're managing your symptoms. The same as having a glass of wine. It's just a way to alter your temporary mood. And that can be fine. I don't see that as harmful, as long as it's not, having diminishing results in your life. Right. Using psychedelics for healing is a very different thing, where you might, smoke a little weed in the evenings or have a glass of wine in the evenings to relax. Psychedelics aren't something you do that often, and they aren't intended to be symptom management. They're more intended to be healing the cause of the symptoms. And so psychedelics help open you up, when you're properly supported, to have access to those places to allow true healing to happen.
So where do you get psychedelics? I mean, I can't just call my Novant doctor and say, dude, I want to look into psychedelics. I mean, or is that possible? Do they know?
Yeah, it's still a challenge. Things are slowly shifting, with some states making some psychedelics legal to have access to. Like in Oregon, you can get a doctor to prescribe mushrooms to be used in a therapeutic setting. There are a lot of challenges around that as well. People are still learning how to make this work. And some of this is still underground. Some of this is still, you're working with professionals that have been doing it for decades. They're highly trained therapists in their own right, but they know the power of this kind of healing, and they offer it more in the gray market. And so there's a lot to understand about it, and that's what I talk about in the book. Is it's still not easy to get access to this kind of help, and some of the help that is legally available isn't all that effective because it's so enamored in red tape from the bureaucracies. And it's just understanding what it is and what it looks like and how it works can get you started on the path for looking for the kind of help that you need. And hopefully over time, more and more legal channels that do this for real, that do it in the right way, become more and more available. You know how we are as this generation. We want to be healed and fixed right now, but that's why a lot of people won't do supplements, because it may take longer than 90 days. Psychedelics, does it work right away? It's not like that. It's not like taking an antibiotic that's going to kill off an infection and then you feel better. Psychedelics are meant to help open you up so you can help heal yourself. Nice. So think about therapy on steroids. When you go into therapy, you've got resistances to going into yourself deeper and deeper. But the psychedelics, when properly used and supported, can help allow you to open to have access to those sensitive, fearful, intense emotional states so that you can start giving expression to them and releasing them and not carrying them around with you every day. That's really the potential of psychedelics, is helping you to heal yourself. It's not about symptom management. It's about going in and healing the cause of the symptoms. You got to come back to the show anytime in the future, Shannon. The door is always going to be open for you. Thank you. Yeah, invite me anytime. That'd be great. One of these days I want to sit down and talk to you about present moment awareness. But I know that we're out of time here, but I want to talk to you about that book and to really get into your head and heart about where the wisdom that you share. So we'll set something like that up for the future, sir. That sounds great. Thank you. Okay, you be brilliant today.